Hello and thanks for joining me on another episode of Zulf Talks. Today in this podcast, we've got a live guest to us, and in this episode, we're going to be looking at motivation. We're going to be looking at mindset and performance. So, ideally, with the Zulf Talks podcast, we cover a number of topics to help you through your business life and as you go through your normal daily routine and how you can actually up what you're doing. So, getting from a 9 to 5 job to your own company ideally, or your own thing that you really like to do. Today my guest is a leading mindset and performance coach in the rugby for young players. He's a founder of Off-Field Rugby.com and the host of Off-Field Rugby Pod. He's releasing a book at the end of this month, and we're going to be putting details for the show notes so you can actually check that out. Titled The Book on How to Become a Pro Rugby Player. Brian Moylett.
Irish, maybe, as you can tell, but I am in Edmonton, Alberta right now. So I'm living in Vancouver, Canada. I've been here for the last 4.5 years, and for 3 or 4 days now, we're in Edmonton with one of the teams I coach. So something I love about being involved with rugby, and maybe it's sports in general, is getting to travel, getting to see some different places and getting to move around, getting different opportunities like that. So yeah, day's going really well. It's early here, 11 a.m. just after. Happy chatting.
Excellent. Yeah, I think that's a nice little option there for you, traveling and doing what you love. So it's really nice to see that, and it's encouraging. So I'm hoping today in this episode we're going to cover a few tips and benefits so some of our listeners can kind of learn something from you, because you've developed nicely into your current role, and it's a very similar position because athletes and people in rugby are doing something motivational and they're showing it in a different way. It's very physical, but in the workplace it's all in our minds. So there's a lot more of, we got to do a lot of juggling, but it's more internally with the minds, making sure that we've got the right mindset. They're both in their own right a way to make us kind of get stronger. So I'm hoping that from your background and the book that you've released, we're going to be able to get a few ideas around the framework and leading mindsets in terms of getting success. So can you talk to us a little bit about the framework that you mentioned in your book and how you train people, and there's any particular things that we can use in both areas?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something interesting you say there, the workplace. And I think something that's really important is to be passionate about what you're doing. So, you mentioned my story now, and I'm a mindset and performance coach for rugby players, and I played high level rugby in the past, but I also for a period worked in finance and worked in an office. You mentioned 9 to 5, and I did that myself. And kind of society tells you that's what you should do, or these are things you gotta get a good job, or go down this path. And I tried that, and I worked hard at it for a while, but when you're not truly passionate about something, it's very challenging to give it absolutely everything that you can. You can work really hard and can do a good job or do your best, but it's hard to give everything that you have. And so I kind of realized about 18 months ago, probably, during the pandemic, that life's short. I think a lot of us kind of had some realizations, and I just realized that I need to pursue what I'm passionate about. And I love helping people get better. I love helping people get better at what they love doing as well. And so for the past 12 months, 13 months, I've just been on a mission to help young players with the mental side of the game, because it's something that I struggled with when I was younger, having doubts, lacking confidence when I was playing rugby. And I just realized, I'm in an office here. Who am I helping? Or, I'm not so passionate about this. If I go on for another 20, 30 years, a lot of people talk about, when I retire, I'll do this. When I'm 65, I'll do this. And, I just listened to a lot of different people and listening to podcasts, and I suppose you'd say inspirational people. And the message is always the same. People who are very successful are doing what they love doing. And I wanted to be successful, and I knew that I knew that I had something within me. I knew that I had greatness within me. I knew, and I wasn't able to express it within sitting at a desk 9 to 5. And so anyway, that's why I transitioned to do what I'm doing now. And as I said, for the past 12 months. And it's been so exciting, so rewarding too, like getting DMs into my Instagram at Off-Field Rugby, these young players, and people saying like, oh, your content's been so great. It's really helped me. I'm going through a tough time. And I just love that message you said. And like, it's just worth everything. It's incredible. So anyway, I've probably gone off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah.
No, that's definitely, I think, very valid points you mentioned there. You may be hearing me click, and we are currently live streaming our meeting right now, and I'm recording this from our podcast. We are taking out segments of some amazing points you're talking about, which will be on the TikTok as well. So that's why you're hearing me click there. I want to get these motivational segments, because sometimes it can be difficult for my audience to always listen to the full podcast, and they do consume a lot of the smaller pieces and chunks. So what I encourage my listeners to do is find those little chunks, and then it entices them to come in and watch the full episode. Because what you've said just now, where you've worked in finance for a little bit, but then it wasn't really the calling for you and you wanted to go in a different direction, that's really good, because it's a decisive decision. You've made the choice that actually, you know what, I'm not happy where I am now. I'm going to try something else. And is it the right thing? Because we all have a different way of looking at things. So definitely that would help a lot of people now. Maybe you are in a 9-to-5 job. And like I have, like you have listening, like you have, Brian, you've actually moved to something now that you enjoy and you love. And it's amazing how it seems more, not effortless, but it's more rewarding, like you said, when you do something you like.
100%. Zulf, the way I've explained it to a few people is that it feels like every day is a summer holidays. You know, when you're a kid and you're like 8 or 9 years old and you're on your summer holidays, and it's just like, you're like, what will I do today? And you have so much enthusiasm and excitement, and you're just full of life. And that's what I actually find. Like, I can't remember the last time I thought, oh, when will it be Friday? Like the days of the week, I don't even know what the days of the week are half the time. I forget. And what I would say to people who are, you know, say listening to this, who are in a 9-to-5, I know it's not easy. You can't say, oh, quit your job and go do that thing you love. But everybody, like, you can carve out an hour a day. So you know what you're passionate about. You know what you love doing. And give your dreams an hour a day. In the evening, okay, you work 8 hours a day, you work 9, 10, 12, life's busy, you've commitments, you've different things to do, but give yourself an hour a day. Do that for a month, that's 30 hours. The things that you can create today, like, we're so lucky, I'm so grateful to, like, look, I'm chatting to you, you're in Birmingham, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta, where I have this microphone I got off Amazon for $70. I got this laptop, and you know, like, the opportunities that we have to create stuff, like set up an Instagram page. When I had this I suppose you'd say maybe epiphany, I was like, first thing, okay, set up an Instagram page. What's stopping me from doing that? The only thing that's stopping me from doing that is my self-doubt, that inner voice that says, oh, you can't do this, Brian, no one's going to listen to you, you're never going to, it's not going to work out, all this other stuff, people are going to laugh at you. And often the thing that's stopping you is you. So if you are that person in 9-to-5, or you're not truly passionate about what you're doing, give yourself an hour a day, carve it out, and just, you deserve it. And wait till you see how much more excited and enthusiastic you'll be, even throughout your day. Because when you get on this path, and you'll know this as well, so if when you're on this path, it's like I said with the kid in the summer holidays, you're like, all right, now I'll do this, now I'll do this, now I'll create this. And your mind starts, just once you open up your mind to it and you stop pushing away that dream, wow, the mind just goes crazy from my experience.
Definitely. And I think what you said there about the hour a day is an amazing one, because right now we've all got a bit of time. But then it depends what you do with that time. Some people might just watch another series of something they've already watched and rewatch it. But ideally, it takes a little bit of an effort. You want to get out of your routine. That hour a day, like you mentioned, anything that you're passionate about, that hour a day, it's amazing how it can get you into another mindset, because you're going to slowly build it. Another analogy I always give is, my friend said to me, do 2 push-ups a day. Every day, do 2 more. I used to do 2, now I do 50. Easily I'll do 100. So it's a routine, getting into that slow, repetitive nature. It works wonders for you. So definitely some good points there. And about stopping and looking and revamping to see what you've done, where you want to go, setting out some type of path during that process is a very good option for you. I'm just looking at your website right now. So I wanted to speak a little bit about that, because you've got your offfieldragby.com as well. And you're offering some coaching there. So can you tell me a little bit about what you do? Because that sounds like a really exciting opportunity to get kids and young people interested.
Yeah, so as I said a year ago, I founded Off-Field Rugby, and I have my Instagram and the website. And I help young, ambitious players get to where they want to go in the game. And I was that young, ambitious player. So when I was younger, I played underage rugby for Ireland. I captained my province's under-20 team. And I was that young, ambitious player that had all the dreams in the world, but some things got in the way. Like, I would doubt myself. I would go through periods of having low self-confidence. And this really held me back at times. And I remember there was one time I was in an Ireland under-18 camp, and we were doing a team meeting. And there was this A3 flip chart in the corner, and the coach went over. Everyone's nervous. You could feel the nervous energy. The coach went over into the corner and started drawing these plays on the line out, or on the board. And they said to us, you have to learn these in 5 minutes, then we're going out onto the field. And this is what separates who'll make it and who won't. And my heart dropped. And I lost all confidence. I said, I shouldn't be here. I'm not good enough. There's no way I can do this. And I just froze on the field, froze when I went out there. And I lost all confidence, and I had been playing great. And then I was very lucky in that I met a really good coach who had a chat with me, and a couple of months later, and I started to realize that I was a good player, realized that I could achieve things. And I went back then and I looked at the mental side of the game, because physically I was going to the gym, I was working out hard, and I had this dream for years of playing with Ireland. But when I got this close, I literally, the last step, I froze completely and lost all confidence and self-belief. And this is all too common for young players, for anyone really. You think, you talk 9 to 5, people who are going for promotions, they put in all the work and then they don't have the confidence to go and get it, that last step. And so with Off-Field Rugby, the coaching that I do is I help young, ambitious players get where they want to get to. And there's a few points in that. So what's very important is having a goal, being very clear on where you want to get to. So when I talk to a lot of players when I'm coaching them one-on-one, I'll say, what's your goal in the game? And they'll go, I want to do X, right? And then I'll say to them, what do you really want? And they'll go, oh, I want X times 5. So by them saying X, there's limiting beliefs and there's fear. They are afraid to go after what they truly want to achieve. So a big thing is getting clear on your goal and not allowing your limiting beliefs to hold you back from pursuing what it is that you truly want to achieve. And when you can do that, you get clear on your ultimate goal and you stop worrying about what will they think of me? What if I fail? Fear of failure is one of the biggest things that holds people back. And I've heard this before. I can't remember the exact person to reference them, but they said, get a goal big enough that's worth failing for. So, pursue something that you truly, truly love, that you don't mind if you fail. And then a big thing for me as well, once again, when I'm talking to young players and coaching them, is get rid of the plan B. You can't have a backup plan. If you truly want something, you have to go all in. And when you get rid of that backup plan, it gets rid of the safety net. So you have no choice but to succeed. And this, bringing it back to the 9 to 5, if people are, listening to this, is I mentioned at the start about starting off with an hour a day. And that's great. Get started, get going, get on the path. But you will see that after a couple of months, you keep working on it, you keep building those habits, you keep putting stuff out there. If you truly want to achieve it, then if you truly want to achieve that goal, you got to go all in. You got to go all in. And when you do, it drives you on. You get this energy like you couldn't imagine. It's incredible because failure is not an option then. When you have the plan B, failure is an option. And also, when you have a plan B, you are subconsciously telling yourself, I don't think you can achieve this. So I'm going to keep this plan B here because I'm not too this is the internal dialogue that you're having within yourself, whether you agree, whether you realize it or not. If you have a plan B, you're saying to yourself, okay, I want to achieve this goal, but there's a good chance I won't achieve it. So let's have this plan B. You're doubting yourself. You're telling yourself you're possibly not good enough. So getting rid of that plan B is huge, going all in. And like, life's short. Why not go all in on your dreams? Why not? Like, give me the reasons why you shouldn't, and so those are a couple of the things that I help initially when working with players that's kind of around the self-belief and helping players realize that it's worth having a massive goal. It's worth giving it everything you have. And then we work on different things. So everyone's different. We're all different. And that's the beauty of life. But some could be confidence. It's what's getting in the way from your next step. So a big, long goal, if I say, I don't know, what's a goal? I want to be CEO of this company, or I want to run a 10 million pound a year company. Okay, that's a massive goal. Go for it, have that goal. But what do I do tomorrow? If you think about the big picture all the time, it can get very daunting. So then when I work with players, we break it down. Okay, so what's the next thing you can do? And putting a plan in place to, like you mentioned at the start again, of building habits. All right, so maybe it's stretch for players. It could be like stretching. It could be going to the gym. It could be cleaning up your diet. It could be all these little things, because a book I love, Atomic Habits, and there's talk about you do all these little things over time. That's everything. Like, we are our daily habits. Our life is made up of all our days put together. And our days are made up of what we do, moment to moment. And research has said that 55% of what you do in a day is habit. So you wake up, you get out of bed, you brush your teeth, you jump into the shower, you get dressed, you put on your coffee, you get your bag packed, you leave the house, you drive the same route to work or school, you talk to the same people, you get coffee at the same time, you have lunch at the same time, you eat the same food every day, you do it's habit. So then we need to create habits that will allow you to get to where you want to get to. And, a lot in that. But yeah, it's the first big thing is that mindset is overcome those limiting beliefs. And that's something that it's not we have one session and then all of a sudden you believe in yourself 100% and you're all in and you can go after your goals. It's constant. It's always working on that. So those are just some of the things. And confidence and self-belief, I find, are the biggest things. So dealing with setbacks. So in the rugby sense, it's when a player gets dropped from the team, or when a player loses a big game, or these just setbacks that come along the way.
So to touch on that a little bit, so an example of a failure. So for example, if you're coaching someone who's been pursuing something really intensely, he's done all the training, he's doing really good, he feels like he's doing all the right steps, but then he gets there and he doesn't get what he wants. What kind of conversation do you have with that person? How do you keep them from maybe trying something a different way or doing something new?
Yeah, so great point. I was literally on a call with a player just before we jumped on, and this player has been dropped from the team, okay? And what I say to them, and how you can look at anything, is it's a challenge or a threat. So you can see anything as a bump in the road and a challenge to overcome, or you can see it as a threat. And a big mistake that people make is they play the victim. Oh, poor me. Oh, I don't deserve this. I should be there. Oh, and then what they do is they hang around with other people who'll feed that. Could be parents, it could be friends. Oh, you don't deserve that. You've worked so hard. Oh, I know I have. Oh, no. And they go through this, carry on. So what I talked with this player is what an opportunity this is to get better. Okay? And the best in the world understand that failure is not fatal. Failure is part of the process. If you're not failing, you're not learning, you're not growing. Okay? You can't live so comfortably. Who's that quote? You can't live so comfortably that you never fail. Like J.K. Rowling, I want to credit her for it because I really like this. You can't live so comfortably that you never fail in life, because if you do so, then you have failed life itself.
Wow.
And brilliant. And another one I love is that boats are safe in the harbor, but that's not what they're built for.
Yeah.
And there's going to be bumps along the way, and they're just challenges, because if something is worth having, it's not going to come easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
If what you want is easy, then everyone will do it. So it's not meant to be easy. And another way to look at it is that failure is going to happen. And what that does is it weeds out the people who are not strong enough, the people who are not going to make it. You need that. It needs to be so challenging that, some people will have a bump on the road and they'll quit. All good. That's fewer people in the race. You're going to keep pushing. You keep going. You use that as fuel to get better. Another great thing about failure, quote unquote, is that it forces you to look at things you can get better at. So it's very easy to get comfortable, and we all do this all the time. Things are going well and you get comfortable. You get into your routines and, you get a few wins and things are going great. And then all of a sudden life just hits you and you're forced to go, whoa, didn't see that coming. And now, as I said, you can quit and you can feel sorry for yourself. If you quit, you're never going to achieve anything. You're done. And if you feel sorry for yourself, you're not going to move forward. You're going backwards. But what that failure does, it forces you to analyze yourself, to look at what you're doing and see, where can I get better? Okay, why did this happen? Why did I have this failure? And always look at yourself. Take ownership of everything. Okay, yes. Don't look at external people. Don't be like, oh, the boss is wrong. Oh, the coach is wrong. Oh, if the referee didn't say this, well, call this, then we would have won and this wouldn't have happened. Oh, no, what did you not do to the best of your ability? And if you're doing everything to the best of your ability, all good, just keep going. But that's the great thing about failure, is it forces you to look at yourself and your habits and take a step back and reassess, so that then you can push on and keep going.
You're listening to Zulf Talks, a podcast answering those questions we've all got in our minds, the day-to-day things we think about and the challenges we face. Be sure to reach out on social media if you have any questions about the topics we're speaking about today, and let's continue with the show. If you're currently in a situation where you want to do more, but you've not got the confidence, there's some quick tips that you could probably suggest, Brian, just to get people uplifted a little bit to proceed with their dreams.
Yeah, so confidence is an interesting one. And yeah, I get this a lot into my inbox on Instagram and TikTok at Off-Field Rugby. Young players saying, I'm low on confidence. And what it'll often be is, what we were chatting about earlier about the setbacks. Things will be going great, but you get dropped from a team, or an external event happens, and that then they lose all confidence. So that's something that's very common that I see. And understand that your self-worth and who you are is not one decision that is made or one thing that happens, it doesn't change anything. So if you are going along and everything's going great and you're feeling confident in yourself, and then you lose that game, you're not all of a sudden a bad player. Or if you don't make the sale, you're in business and you're doing all the right things and you're feeling great, and then you don't make a sale for 2 or 3 days or whatever it is, that is often the trigger for people to lose all confidence within themselves. It's very important to understand and remember how good you are and remember the things that you do well.
What's the correct way to remind yourself? So if you're currently in that strut and you're stuck, is there like some tips that just help you remind that, you know what, I am good because...
Yeah, remember all the wins you've had. Remember all the things that you've done well in the past. So you are competent. Like I know I'm talking to different people in different areas, and from a sports point of view, you've had lots of successes in the past. So remember how good you are. And when I mentioned earlier about a period I had when I lost confidence on the field, and it took a coach to he called me up to a different team, which was high level, and he kind of said, like, we want you in here because you're good. And that was a catalyst for me to go, you know what, actually, yeah, I am good. Yeah. And and I had just been so focused on this one thing that didn't go well. That one time I froze and I lost all confidence and self-belief because of the environment that I was in. It was a very high level, it was elite level sport, and there's a lot of good players around me, and I looked around at all these other good players and I said, he's so good, he's so good, he's so good. Oh, I don't think I should be here. And just within that morning, that 10, 15 minute period, I was just like, boom, I'm no good. And you can focus so much on other people. And one I love is comparison is the thief of joy. If you're always comparing yourself to other people, you'll never be happy, because there's always going to be someone out there who's better than you at something. You think about the best businessman or woman in the world. There's Elon Musk, maybe, or whatever. If he compares himself to someone else, Jeff Bezos will be better at something than he is. Or the best soccer player in the world. If you are a Ronaldo fan, Messi's better at dribbling. If you're a Messi fan, Ronaldo's better at heading the ball. So if you are in the mindset or habit of comparing yourself to others, you will never be happy, and it really affects your confidence, because you can do all the things right. You can, in a sporting sense, go to the gym, practice your skills, work hard, and do all the things right. But if you then turn around and look at, and social media is awful these days, because you can see the world, you can see people all over the world, and whereas back in the day before, you only saw the people in your town. And it's so easy to, maybe you're shooting basketballs and then you think you're doing great. And all of a sudden you look online and go, oh, that person, I'm 25 and that person's only 15 and they're so good. They're so much better than me. Oh, I'm no good. I'm never going to make it. And that could be the same in a business sense. You are working hard. You're doing all the right stuff. You're making sales. You're killing it. You were on 50 sales a week. Now you're on 100 sales a week. Now you're on 150 and you're killing it. And then you turn around and you look at all those people over there in that other area of the business and they're making 400 sales. You were so happy and so buzzing about the work you're doing and who you are and the way you're going. And then all of a sudden you turn and you look at other people and compare yourselves to them, and your confidence goes and you think you're no good.
As long as you've done something better than what you did yesterday, you've succeeded. So you're definitely right there. I think comparing yourself to yourself is going to be your best bet. And if I did 10 push-ups yesterday, I did 20 today, I'm happy. So I think that's definitely a valid point. I want to speak a little bit more about your book and how that's coming about in terms of the journey you led to decide, okay, I think I need to write a book. I can already tell, because talking to you, I can hear the passion, I can hear the amazing value that you would be giving in the book. But what led you to that decision, and kind of talk a little bit about the process of maybe, because it can be hard, putting the best bits, because you got so much to tell, which bits you decided to put into the book?
Yeah, so I have one copy. I don't know if you can see that, of the book. So I've got one copy of the book and the book on how you become a pro rugby player. And Amazon put this strip across the front on the first copy, say not for resale.
Yes.
I don't know why they do that, but when you get it up on the website before publishing, it'll be out next week. They send you out that, so it's really cool to get in my hands. And how did that go about? Well, as I said, I'm on a mission to help young players with the mental side of the game. And why should I not help everyone all over the world? Because they need it. Okay. I needed this. I needed this when I was younger. I needed this help when I was younger. When I was going to the gym when I was younger, I had a gym coach. When I was on the field, I had a coach teaching me skills. I had no mindset and performance coach. So I know that I need this, and the feedback that I get is through, as I said, through Instagram, on the podcast. The feedback is incredible, and people need this. So how can I serve people? I love reading books. I love reading books and learning. And
Are you more, sorry, I may interrupt you. Are you more of a reader, or are you more of an audible? Do you also listen to audiobooks, or are you, some people are big fans of one or the other, or some are both?
yeah, I wasn't the biggest reader, and I went through a period about 3-4 years ago of just so hard on Audible, loving it, and I still do. But then I went reading physical books so hard, and now I'm probably 75% physical, 80% physical, 20% Audible. Active reading, I think it's called. But how did I get started with it? So when I was creating content for Instagram. I was like getting messages out there, and I was just so enthralled and excited about this area that I would be at home just writing. I'd be like, I remember when I was 18 and had no confidence, and this is what I did, and I'd write. And I used to always get so nervous before a game it would make me sick. And these are the things that I did, and I was just writing. I just kept writing. So it got to a point, and I'd be typing sometimes with the pen and paper, the old school. And I then all of a sudden I had 3 chapters, and then I said, I'd love to write a book. And I think the vast majority of people think that I'd love to write a book. And I thought that, and do you know what I did next? I said, oh no, I can't write a book. So I pushed that out of my mind for 3 months maybe. And I had these 3 or 4 chapters saved on my laptop. Because that limiting belief, that self-doubt, I'm no different to you. I'm the same, and these thoughts do come from time to time. Oh, I'm not good enough. No, actually, let's look at that thought. Let's stop that thought right now and have a look at that. There's no reason, Brian, why you shouldn't write a book, and people need it. That's the thing. People need it. I can tell you the amount of books that have changed my life in different ways. I'll read a book and I'll go, that's profound, and I'll get something from it. I'll get something, and it just helps me a lot. And so books can and books do change people's lives. They've changed my life. And so I just realized I want to make that impact. I want to help people. So, it's a big mountain to climb, writing a book. It is, but like anything, it's achievable. I've always thought this, and maybe it's being an athlete, but if someone else can do it, I can do it.
Definitely. I think some valid points there. Loads of little information there about speaking and getting the right options. Because if you can do it and you believe you can do it, and you get that secondary voice coming in your head saying, actually, you know what, you must do it. Because if you've had that idea, that will always do well. Even in a lot of my career progression, the things that I thought, I would be good at going on camera and doing videos. And then I just, now who's going to watch me? And now here I am, all live streaming all over the place, and people enjoy it because it's a real life experience. It's not scripted. We have conversations, which is a lot better and nicer for people listening in because they feel part of the conversation. I want to say, Brian, thank you very much for coming on today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And these tips our listeners will find really well. In the show notes, I will be putting additional information to yourself and your book release date. I'm hoping I can get a link from you for Amazon store. We'll put that in there as well so you can go directly to the book. And I'm hoping to get you on for another episode where we speak about the journey of you actually getting the book out there in terms of the logistics and all these extra things that people would think about, like the extra people to maybe check over the details of the book, how you went about it. So it sounds like an amazing journey, and a lot of people, like you said, that want to do it, if they can hear it from you that has done it, hopefully it'll give them a push to also get some books out there.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for your time, Zulf. Really appreciate it. And I've really enjoyed chatting and absolutely would love to come on again. The book is out next Wednesday. What are we? We're Friday the 21st now. I think it's Wednesday the 26th. That will be up on Amazon then. I will send you the link then to the book on how you become a pro rugby player. And if people want to chat to me about anything that I've talked about, I would love to hear from you. My Instagram and TikTok is at Off-Field Rugby. My email address is offfieldrugby@gmail.com and website offfieldrugby.com. So yeah, please, if there's anything people listening thought about or want to ask me about, send me a DM and I will get back to you.
It's always amazing getting guests on the show, and like today we spoke to an amazing person who was actually going through his dreams and writing a book. So I think it's very important as a listener that you get out little bits from this that you would find interesting, because it's rugby related, it's sports related, but that relates to progression through your career. So I'm hoping you find this episode helpful, and in the next episode we'll be having another guest on speaking about graphic design and how that helps you through your career and getting yourself online, because everything's online these days. So I'm hoping you enjoyed this episode, and zulftalks.com. Thank you. Let's talk.